Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Of course, we're going to shout out the 19. Thank you all for being here. We have, I know it's wild. Didn't talk about her for a long, long time. And now, what is this, like the third Elle Duncan video in the last week? But it is well deserved. We are going on an Elle Duncan journey because she opened her mouth yet again. And it is just something I cannot resist. So we are going to have to talk about this. We are talking about the potential for Caitlin Clark to be the MVP of the WNBA this season. Let's listen what Elle let's listen to what Elle has to say, and we shall talk about it.
The question for you, and you tell me, and then we're going to run the tape and see if you were right.
Perfect.
7 months from now in October when all these things are crowned.
Perfect.
I feel like I know where you're going to go with this one. Caitlin Clark will win MVP.
That's a fact.
Okay, first I just got to comment. You love that tone, right? You love that tone, the obnoxious condescension. Oh, fantastic. Bless you, Joy Taylor. I'm sorry. I get them confused sometimes. Bless you, Elle Duncan.
Elle, she was as close to the second best odds to win it last year. And I think after we came out of the All-Star break, she had a couple of games where I think she was sort of like the favorite to win MVP. And this was no disrespect to obviously Asia Wilson or Nafisa Collier, and obviously Wilson, pulled it down the home stretch and got another one. But Caitlin Clark being in that very, very short list of second best odds, third best odds, and I think that's where she actually finished in her rookie season. Yes. New coach, new veteran players, yes.
To be clear, there was never a time where she was the favorite to win MVP. There was a time after the All-Star break that she made it an interesting conversation because it was a runaway train for Asia Wilson the entire season.
I disagree.
Post All-Star break, I mean, Nafisa Collier's the one that finished second, but it became more interesting. It's like when, Jokic is the undisputed guy, and then all of a sudden you see a guy like put together a really great half of the year, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander last year. So then all of a sudden the conversation becomes more interesting. But like they took the odds down. I mean, it was Asia Wilson's to lose. But I will say a couple of things. Do I expect Asia Wilson to be Asia Wilson again this year? Yes. But I also know there is such a thing as voter fatigue. They don't like giving anybody MVP 3 times in a row. They barely like to do it 2 times in a row, let alone 3 times in a row. I just don't see it simply because of voter fatigue. Like it just is what it is. I also think that Caitlin was putting it together in such a way last year. They're only going to get better. And now they've got a full off season together. I could 100% see this happen.
Wow, so many things, but I wanted to let that run through. I might have to dial it back. But first of all, I feel sorry for this guy. He looks like he is just in hell having to do this with Elle Duncan. But bills to pay and all that. Hopefully he maybe gets to go out on his own or gets to have another partner at some point. But there's just so much wrong with this. First of all, he is correct. Now, positioning, I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head where Caitlin got the highest in terms of, the betting. I believe at the end she was maybe fourth, and that's where she finished. She may have been second or third at one point. In terms of favorites, yeah, Elle, actually, not the sports media, not you, of course, because you would never in a million years think that. But yeah, a lot of people, the way she was putting things together toward the end of the season, that she absolutely had a shot at winning the MVP. Now, what's funny is again condescension and the dismissiveness of, oh well, she was never in the leading. No, she would never. And then what does she do after that? She flaps her gums and gets it wrong. Because guess what? Elle Duncan, Asia Wilson couldn't three-peat even if she got MVP this year because the 2023 MVP was named Breanna Stewart. My Lord, woman, are you terrible at this or what? And we're gonna get into this some other stuff too, because you got me irked now. Now I'm gonna get in the comments. Oh, you sound so angry. No, I'm good, man. But thank you. It's a It's a bemused exhaustion. How about if we go with that? So it was Asia's to lose. It's funny. I don't know if she realizes the admission there, because yes, it was Asia's to lose. Why? Because we all know that Asia, again, because of the tan issue, Asia was given the MVP before the season started because people were so upset that Brianna Stewart got it the previous year and Asia Wilson didn't. So yes, it was hers to lose. Absolutely. And by the way, Elle Duncan, Caitlin Clark did not put together a good half season. Again, this dismissiveness. But what you don't realize, and I'm not going to go through all these, I just have these here to kind of show you. Where see someone put this is like the list of some of the records that Caitlin Clark set. They've got 70 listed here. One, I was scrolling through because one I was looking for, because I can't find the number anymore, and I know I had it at some point, was she set the record for most combined points in a season from the WNBA, with her own points and then the points off assists. And I think it's around 1,600 and some, but I couldn't find the exact number. I couldn't even get like Grok to tell me or anything, because they couldn't find a breakdown of how many assists she got on 2-pointers and 3-pointers. But anyway, as you can see, lots and lots of records by Caitlin Clark. So again, Elle, what you're not realizing is you're trashing the quality of play in the WNBA by dismissing Caitlin Clark's season as a good half season. He set the record, the WNBA single season record for assists, but she only had a good half season. What does that say about the quality and the record itself before Caitlin Clark ended the league? You're saying it was trash, right? A video I did the other day talked about points per shot, which is a stat that I love. No, there is no be all end all stat, but in terms of a player's offensive production, in terms of scoring, it is a good stat because it kind of incorporates all of the shooting percentages, including free throw, and how often you also get to the line. So it's how many points you produce per each shot you took. And Caitlin Clark's one of the tops in the league, slightly behind Asia Wilson, who should have, being playing center, really should have a higher one than the shots Caitlin Clark takes. Asia was, I think, 1.37. Caitlin Clark was at 1.324. Just to give you a reference. Sorry, I just smacked my hand on the table. I talk with my hands. It's the thing I got inherited from my mother. But where was I? Yeah, the points per shot. To give you an idea, Arike, who everyone loves as a shooting guard, she's all the way down at 1.15, and that was her career number as well. So Caitlin Clark, I want to finish this up because I think this is important, not so much about bashing Elle, but her dismissive nonsense that it was Asia Wilson's and Caitlin had no chance. Asia Wilson took a team that I think was 34-6, has like 71 Olympians on it, and led them to a much worse 27-13. And an exit in the playoffs, while the year before they were champions. Caitlin Clark got on a team that hadn't seen the playoffs since the 6th century, that won 13 games the previous year, 5 games the year before, took them to 20-20. 19-12 after that 1-8 start. Did it all with teammates like Christy Wallace and Katie Lou Samuelson and Erica Wheeler. And then led that team, coached by Christy Sides, who was going to have her shooting long twos and have her getting out of those bad college habits that you can't do in the WNBA, is going to go sit her in the corner, is going to get touches in the paint. And despite all that, one of the most productive offensive seasons in the history of the WNBA, set a rookie record for 3-pointers among all these things you see here, which I think was one, or someone correct me if I'm wrong, I believe 1 or 2 short of the actual WNBA record. I promise you, in no universe of basketball people who are going to be honest, and you say Asia Wilson was more valuable. Again, I am not comparing who had a better individual season. If it's not the same, best and most valuable are not the same thing. Caitlin Clark was clearly more valuable to the Indiana Fever than Asia Wilson this season was to the Las Vegas Aces. That is without a doubt true. Elle Duncan, you were condescendingly dismissive of what your co-host said, and then you were flat out wrong about Asia Wilson winning 2 MVPs in a row because she did not win it in 2023. That is not a good look, my friend. I am going to leave it there. I appreciate you checking out this video as always. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you later.